Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Absolute Astronomy, the podcast where we discuss space things because space is cool, so let's talk about it. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas or whatever it was that you celebrated last week, and as you can probably tell, the podcast is sounding a little different, mainly because I'm not at the school anymore, so I don't have access to professional recording equipment. I'm actually just recording on a little blue snowball, one of those average consumer mics, so I apologize for that. I'm also getting a little bit sick because it wouldn't be the winter season without me catching a cold. So hopefully my annoying voice won't be too annoying throughout this podcast, so just bear with me. So last week we covered what would happen if you fell into a black hole, and this week we're going to be talking about another crappy way to die. Isn't this just the most inspirational podcast you ever listened to? But before we get into that, let's start things off with a twist.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to This Week in Space Talk, where we discuss what's making headlines in the space community. And in case you haven't guessed, I did make the title into an acronym because I'm clever like that. You get it? This Week in Space Talk. Twist. Never mind. So there's something awesome happening in the skies in the new year. If you haven't heard about it by now, Comet Catalina is going to be passing by Earth on January 17th, 2016, but the awesome part is that you don't have to wait that long to see it. On December 31st, you can look up at the sky towards the red giant star Arcturus, which is located in the constellation Boötes, and partially see the comet. You're going to need binoculars or a little telescope of some sorts because unless you have superhuman zoom vision, you're not going to be able to see it. If you're having trouble locating Arcturus, there are many different stargazing apps that you can download onto your smartphone. I personally use Starwalk too, but there are some other free ones out there as well in case you don't feel like spending money. Basically what it does is it connects to your GPS, and as you move your phone around, it'll display the different locations of stars, planets, and all sorts of cool things. Arcturus is pretty easy to spot with your eye because it's the fourth brightest star in the sky and it appears orange. But for any newbie stargazers, an app like Starwalk can be very helpful. So Comet Catalina was discovered in October 2013, and since its discovery, it's been heading towards the sun at speeds of over 165,000 kilometers per hour. Good luck trying to give that thing a speeding ticket. The comet made its closest approach to the sun on November 15th of this year, and now it's heading back out of the inner solar system. For those of you who don't exactly know what comets are or how they work, here's a quick rundown. Comets are referred to as dirty snowballs because their centers are made up of ice, and they're surrounded by a large cloud of gas and dust, which is commonly known as the tail. They're leftovers of planets and stars from our solar system when it formed many years ago. As a comet approaches the sun, it gets warmed up and can develop one or two larger tails. The comet is drawn into the sun's gravitational pull, and after it curves around the star, it gets shot back out into space. When Comet Catalina approaches Earth on January 17th, 2016, which is when it will be the closest to us, it'll be soaring by at speeds of 110 million kilometers per hour. If you're planning on trying to get a picture of that comet, you might want to get your hands on a camera which is really good at taking longer exposure photos. You're probably going to look at around maybe 20 seconds or so of exposure to really capture the beautiful tail of the comet. Up next, I've got a song for you that I cannot stop listening to. It's a remix of Adele's Hello, and it's so beautifully done. I'll see you back here shortly on Absolute Astronomy.
Must have called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call you, never seem to be home. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Doesn't tear you apart with me. It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like me to go over everything They say the time's supposed to heal ya, but I ain't done much here. Hello from the outside. At least I can say that I've tried to tell you I'm sorry for breaking your heart, but it don't matter. Clearly doesn't tear you apart anymore. I stuck called 1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry.
Welcome back. That was a remix of Adele's Hello by TRXD or TRXD. I'm not 100% sure how you say your name. I'm so sorry. They've got some other awesome remixes out, so be sure to check them out at soundcloud.com/TRXD official. So now it's time to die. Well, for the sun at least. The sun actually won't die for another 5 billion years, so you don't have to worry about being engulfed into some crazy inferno. You just gotta worry about being hit by a car, or getting murdered, or, something equally as awful. The sun, the heart of our solar system, currently halfway through its life at 4.6 billion years old. But like all good things, it must come to an end. As with every star, it'll eventually run out of nuclear fuel. Like I mentioned in last week's episode, a star has to be at least 20 times the mass of the sun's current size to turn into a black hole, so luckily for us that won't happen. Once the sun runs out of fuel, it will begin to swell and enter a red giant phase. Red giant stars can be anywhere from 100 million to 1 billion kilometers in diameter, which is about 100 to 1,000 times the size of the sun today. By the time the sun reaches the red giant stage in its life, it'll have engulfed Mercury and Venus and possibly our Earth. Scientists are still debating on whether or not the sun will actually end up swallowing our planet, but either way, all life on Earth will cease to exist. Our planet would be orbiting way too close to the sun's outer layers for anything to survive. After about 100 million years of being a red giant, the sun's helium shell will become unstable. This will cause the star to pulse violently and send out large amounts of its atmosphere into space. When the sun has blasted off all of its outer layers, all that will remain is the central core of carbon. The sun now becomes a white dwarf star, but it'll still be hot enough to shine some thermal radiation. However, since it's no longer generating solar fusion, the sun will slowly start to cool down until it becomes the same temperature as the rest of the universe, which will take about 1 trillion years. And unfortunately, the sun's death is now complete. Its closest companion would be Mars, but even if humans were to survive on the planet, they would definitely be scorched by the sun's waves of atmosphere when it pulsated them out into space. Plus, it'd be hard to survive on Mars anyways. Have you seen the movie The Martian? A person can only live off of potatoes for so long. And on that crazy note, I'd like to give you a song to put you in a relaxing mood to help you forget about the crazy inferno death of our nearest star. Here's Magic by Coldplay on Absolute Astronomy.
Call it magic, call it true, call it magic when I'm with you. Still believe in magic. Well, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Of course I do.
Welcome back, that was Magic by Coldplay, and unfortunately we've reached the end of the episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, be sure to follow me on Twitter at astro_podcast for awesome updates, news stories, and space photos of the day. If you have any topics that you'd like me to discuss, feel free to send me a message. I don't bite. Unless you're into that. Are you going to be keeping your eye on the sky for Comet Catalina this week? Let me know if you see it. I know I'm definitely going to be trying my hardest to. Adios!